Yeah, thank you. Okay, so what was I saying? Each hair has its own kind of positives and negatives. Someone with type 1, they can't, that hair doesn't always hold certain styles, but someone with type 4, we definitely our hair is so versatile. We can do so much. Like in the space of 3 months, you can have three different like hairstyles, which is something that someone with type 1 can't do. So it's really important to always think about what, kind of like what God gave us and how we can actually individualize the styles because of the hair textures that we have. Yeah. So I'll move on to the next one. So here, when I sent the registration form, a lot of people wanted to know about hair breakage. So I was like, you know what, let me just start start there, and then everything that we're going to talk about down the line, you will have hair breakage in mind, if that makes sense. Like you realize, oh, okay, so if someone doesn't do A, that leads to breakage. Someone does B, that doesn't lead to breakage. So what I did was I tried to come up with two scenarios. So one is someone with relaxed hair, and then the second scenario is someone with a natural hair. So this is it was just my imagination really, like of okay, imagine someone who has had their hair relaxed, what goes through their minds, like when it comes to their hair, and then imagine someone with natural hair, what goes through their minds and in terms of their routine because they've got natural hair. So first one, we're gonna go through just briefly like a scenario around the relaxed hair journey. So let me go next slide. Okay, so I named her Linda. So meet Linda. So Linda grew up not learning much about hair care. As an adult, she feels her natural hair is just too hard to manage. So she goes ahead and relaxes it to just make life easier. Nothing to do with the fact that she just, wants white people hair or anything like that. It was just more to do with easy management. So she's very busy with work and family, and hair care becomes something that she only thinks about when when the roots grow out or when she's planning to, to get like new style or new braids. So if we look at Linda's routine, first she washes her hair only when she's changing the style. So that would be like maybe like once a month. And then she buys the cheapest shampoo and conditioner. Like maybe she goes to Aldi or to Woolies and just buys like whatever is on sale. And just be like, okay, as long as I'm doing something right. Or sometimes, she will skip the whole conditioning process altogether. And then she doesn't moisturize or protect her hair like in between styles. It's something that she just doesn't think to do. So what are the problems with that type of hair routine? So problem number one is her hair is chronically dry and weak because it's chemically straightened, chemically treated, but not properly cared for. And then when she gets braids, soon after getting a relaxer, it actually weakens and snaps the hair. And then she's gotten used to seeing so much breakage when she combs or take off her braids, so she doesn't think anything strange by it because it's something that has been happening for maybe so many years. So this cumulative damage from relaxing it on the poor moisture plus the tension hairstyles, it does lead to thinning, breakage, and split ends. And then sometimes it actually leads to traction alopecia, like over times. So yeah, so this is Linda. So if you're someone that I have relaxed hair myself, so I know in this session we have a combination of some people have got relaxed hair, some people have got natural hair. But if it's you who has relaxed hair, just think about this scenario for a second and think about maybe there is one or two things that you resonate with, not the whole story, but maybe it could be something to do with washing often, or maybe just buying random products. So there has to be something that you can kind of go, oh, you know what? I think on this point number two, that is me. Yeah. So just keep it at the back of your mind. And then we move on to our lady with natural hair. So meet Amina. So Amina decided to, embrace her natural texture. She wanted to avoid chemicals and she wanted to learn how to care of her natural hair, which is great. And then at first she felt excited, new beginning. But then that excitement didn't last for long because she quickly ran into hair struggles. So what are the struggles that she might have ran into? So knotting, like hair knotting, like tangles and dryness. And because of all those things, detangling sessions were maybe painful and they would take an hour or hours. And then breakage would happen, especially when she would try to comb hair, dry hair, or when she styles without, like moisturizing it. So what hair routine? So hair routine might be, I found people with natural hair, they have a bit more intention around, okay, let me go to an African shop and let me buy certain products. So that's actually like a good place to start. But if you go and buy, but you're not buying the right thing, sometimes you're causing more harm than good in some instances. So in Amina's case, she would go to an African shop, but she would mainly pick heavy butters or gels without fully understanding, like, what her hair actually needs. And she probably doesn't really know how to layer moisture properly, or the fact that she needs to use a leave-in conditioner before applying all these heavy products, and then maybe she barely trims because she tries to hold on to, like the length that she has because of the shrinkage. But then if you don't trim, you get split ends and they do travel up your hair shaft, by the way. Yeah. So the problem with that is without like a moisture focused and consistent routine, even if you have natural hair, it won't strive, and your hair will keep breaking, and that means your hair will stay at the same length because it's breaking, it's growing, it's breaking, it's growing. So there won't be any movement in terms of actual like length because of that. Yeah. So I try to figure out where to put this slide, because it's kind of feels a bit random if you don't know anything about hair porosity. But then I realized, because I really want to talk about, it's gonna lay the foundation around how you choose products. I thought to talk about it right now. So for those who don't know what hair porosity is, I'll spend a bit of time talking, like just describing it. So if you're someone who listens to like a lot of American hair care, like, enthusiasts, they will talk about porosity all the time because it is definitely something that it's good if you know what it is. So hair porosity means how easily your hair can absorb and keep moisture. So it's about absorption and keeping that moisture. It's not even just about absorbing. It's about how quickly does it absorb it, and how long does it keep that moisture. And it depends on the health of your cuticle layer. That outer layer that I was talking about, saying, remember the outer layer. So it depends on the health of that layer. When, how I mentioned that layer does open and close depend on what you do to your hair. So when that cuticle is tightly closed, that means in terms of absorption of like water or products, it doesn't absorb as quickly. And when it's open, even like open a little bit, that means there is some absorption, and that means the moisture is able to be kept in the hair. Or when it's very open, that means it's so easy to literally just drench your hair with water. But then that means that water will evaporate just as quickly because your cuticles are they're quite open. So why is it important to know that? It's important because it does help you when you're choosing products. You can try out different products, and then anything that you try out, if you've got low porosity hair and it kind of just stays on top of your hair and doesn't really absorb, that's how you know, oh, you know what, I've got low porosity hair. If you're someone with high porosity hair, anything that you put on your hair, it does absorb much quicker. So another way to kind of test this out, actually I'll talk about on the next slide. Look at this photo here. It's giving you a kind of a visual presentation or visual guide of what that actually looks like under the microscope. So the first one is low porosity hair. That's a closed cuticle. Moisture is really hard to penetrate, so it's nice and layered. It's very close. Most healthy hair is actually on this stage, by the way. where it's like very closed, and then you've got the medium porosity hair that's slightly open cuticle, and moisture lasts longer in the hair. So that means whatever you put in the hair, it doesn't like leave your hair strand quickly. Yeah. And then the last one is high porosity hair. So that's cuticle that's very open and moisture absorbs quickly, but then it does leave just as quickly when you do that. So when you look at these three, ideally, I guess you would want, medium porosity hair will be great, because that means it's a good balance between low and high, but not everyone has medium porosity hair. As a fun fact, I think most people with Afro hair, we oh Linda, okay, I'm just looking at this from the other slide. Yeah, many people are Linda. I was Linda at some point as well. Yeah. So I lost my train of thought. Where was I? Okay, so yes, anyone with natural hair and is healthy hair, there's a good chance that your hair is low porosity hair. Anyone with relaxed hair, there's a good chance that your hair is high porosity hair, only because chemically straightening our hair, it does weaken it and it opens up the cuticle. Simple as that. So that's just a good way to kind of have a blanket, just to know it as a general point. If you've got natural hair and is quite healthy, there's a good chance that your hair is low porosity. And if it's relaxed hair like me, I've got relaxed hair, it's a good chance that is high porosity hair. So if you know that, it does, knowing that at the back of your mind, it kind of gives you an idea of like, okay, someone with relaxed hair, they definitely need to do more for their hair to make sure that it doesn't break, because it's kind of already in its weakened state, if that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so how do you test your hair porosity? So this is just a kind of like a bro science or African science way of testing hair porosity. It can be done in a lab. There's actual like science tests that can do it. But if you just want to do it at home, it's not foolproof, but it's a good way to have an idea of where your hair stands. It is common sense. Like when I mentioned that low porosity, it means your cuticle, that outer layer is closed. So that means if you put it in a cup of water, that hair will not sink quickly. It'll probably float because the cuticles are closed. If you've got high porosity hair, that means the cuticle is open, and that means the hair will absorb the moisture. It will drink that water in, and then it'll make it heavy. So that strand will become heavier, and that will mean it'll sink very fast. And that's how you know you've got high porosity hair. And then likewise, medium porosity hair, it's just that means you've got somewhere in the middle, and your hair will not sink as fast. If anything, it'll probably just kind of hang around somewhere in the middle. So you need clean hair to do this. To wash your hair, make sure it's clean without any product, and then get like a little bit, like just cut a little bit, or maybe just the broken one, like broken strand, and then pop it in a glass of water and then watch what happens to it. That's what people do if you just want to figure out if you want to test out your hair. Yeah, but otherwise, like I said earlier, if you've got relaxed hair, there is a good chance you've got high porosity, or if you've got healthy natural hair, there's a good chance that it's low porosity hair. Okay. All right, so next, okay, so this is another, sometimes it's good to visualize what your hair is, the state of your hair. So all of us right now, our hair is at each strand of your hair is at any given number here. So it's either could be you've got maybe 80% of your hair is on one, and then some on two, or some on three, or unfortunately, for some people, it's like all of your hair is probably on number 4, 5, and 6, So this is what your hair strand would look like under the microscope if you've got normal close cuticle. And then number 6 is not really where you want to go. But every time you notice hair breakage, unfortunately, that's what your hair would have looked like at the end of it, like where it breaks. So it's literally just like wear and tear, constant wear and tear. And then it just kind of progresses up until it's number 6. So where you want it, the sweet spot, I guess, will be number 1 and 2. Number 2 is more for relaxed hair, and then number 1 is more for someone who hasn't done any perm or any kind of dye or coloring. Hair coloring is also a chemical treatment, and it does almost the same thing as a relaxer does, but not as damaging, I guess. Yeah. So 1 and 2 is where we want to stay at, but unfortunately, because of life gets in the way, and sometimes we don't know what to do, it does get to the point where your cuticle is literally gone. So number 4 is it's like your cuticle, your hair is so exposed that there's no amount of you can't fix it. The only way is to cut it. If you don't cut it, it's just gonna keep progressing to number 5 and number 6. So anytime you notice hair breakage, that's number 6. That's how it would have transpired, really. Yeah. Okay, so just look at my time. So much to go through. Okay, next slide. Okay, so hair growth. Talking about hair growth, I would just let you know, hair grows like clockwork. Doesn't matter where you are, who you are, your hair is growing. God is doing his part, making your hair grow. The rate is different for all of us. Asian hair is one that grows quickest, followed by Caucasian hair, and then we've got Afro-textured hair. And that is explained by environmental factors. It's not like God favored them and they're not us. It is because when you look at where we come from, like in the hot climates, like in Africa, you need your hair our hair is more coiled, and that means it does protect the scalp from heat. So heat doesn't when you look at things like moisture escaping, when you've got your hair is tightly coiled and it's natural, it does retain that moisture. But then if you've got straighter hair, moisture doesn't stay as much. So someone with Asian hair, in their colder climates, their hair needs it to grow quicker so that it can keep them warm, it can protect them. But for us, we need our hair, because of the hot climate, we needed our hair to have a bit more, how do I say it? More ventilation, really. So that's how it ends up becoming a hair that doesn't grow as fast, but then when it grows, it's quite tightly coiled. Yeah. So most people with Afro-textured hair, our hair doesn't grow as fast as Asian hair, but it still grows all the same. So the other difference is what we call, I'll show it in the next slide. Hair grows in different phases. So we've got what we call the anagen phase, and this is where your hair is growing. That's your growing phase of your hair. And that goes from in 4 to 7 years. It can even go to 11 years. But this is for people of Asian descent. For us with Afro-textured hair, it is anywhere from 3, 4, 5, or 6, or even 7 years. But we're all different. This is stuff that you can't really do anything about because it does come down to genetics, like in terms of your growth phase and how long it is. And so what happens when your hair comes out of your scalp is really the key. Those are the things that you can control. So the first 3 points you can't control, but the last 2, what you do yourself and what you eat, it definitely is something that is in your hands, if that makes sense. So like, what do I mean? So here is the diagram that I was talking about that talks about the growth phases. So you've got the first one, that's the anagen phase, like I mentioned. 4 to 7 years, your hair is growing. So at any point in your life, at any point in time, rather, even right now, about 80 to 85% of your hair is in this phase. 80 to 85%. So it doesn't happen all at once, because if it did, that means, you wake up with a bald head, and that's not true. So each strand is got its own timeline, but about 80 to 85% of our hair is in its growing phase at any given time. And then you've got the catagen phase, that's the next stage, and then you've got the telogen stage, that's the last phase. So if I'm gonna go and talk about the anagen, like I mentioned, that's the one that's where your hair is growing. The catagen phase, that's where your hair stops growing and your follicles they shrink. So these are all in preparation for new growth. So if you can see in the diagram, we've got some little dots at the bottom, like at the base of your follicle. So that's actually new hair that's preparing to come out. If you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, like the fourth picture, it shows you where new hair is coming out and then your old hair is getting pushed out. So when you have your hair falling, your hair shedding, which is a normal part of life, by the way, we've got about 100 strands, 100 strands of hair falls each day, regardless of who you are. So that's what will be happening. Your early anagen phase will be coming up, and then your hair, and then your old hair is coming out. So there is such a thing as excessive shedding, and that does happen when you've got like maybe going through medication or there's a medical reason to it. But on an average, a normal person, a healthy human being, about 100 strands of hair you lose each day, because your hair is always going through all these growth cycles. So this is a good thing to remember. A good way to see whether your is breakage or your hair is falling is how long the strand is. So if you know that you're generally, of course, you've got your hair is like shorter length, and then you see maybe at the floor of your bathroom, it's a lot of like kind of long strands, and they've got like white bulbs at the end. That's just your hair falling. Like that's just like normal shedding. But if it's like little bits and pieces, like 1 centimeter, 5 centimeters, very like like shorter than what your actual hair length is, that is a sign of breakage. And when it comes to breakage, the other thing is we're humans. We live in the world, in a perfect world. There's always environmental factors and wear and tear. You cannot completely avoid breakage. It will happen at some point. But the important thing is how much of your hair is breaking. If it's you look at it and it's like you can see there's like it is a lot of breakage, then that's where you get concerned. But if it's just like, a few strands a day, that's something that you can't avoid because you're human, you're living, you sleep, you touch your hair, you manipulate your hair. So there's at least some amount of breakage that we kind of have to embrace and accept in a way. Yeah, if that makes sense. Okay, so this is what you're born with, and you can't really change much about that. But the next slide is what you do. So this is what we do as like culturally speaking. We love our protective style. We like relaxing our hair, but sometimes it does cause more harm than good. So breakage cancels out growth. So when you start wondering, why is my hair not growing? Your hair is growing, but it's what you do. It's what you're doing when it comes out that actually cancels out all that work that your follicles are doing. So rough handling, like overusing the heat or frequent chemical processing, when you get like relaxed hair and then you go and dye your hair right on top. I used to do that, by the way. That will just cancel out all the growth that you're doing, and it will lead to dry hair and breakage. And tight hairstyles that cause tension, like on your scalp, like wow, like even not just braids, even just like a ponytail, when you really like pull your hair at the back and then you tie it really tight, and then you can feel like that you've had like a bit of a facelift. That is not good if you do it consistently, because that means you're definitely gonna have your hairline is gonna move, and that is pretty much what we call traction alopecia. And then also lack of consistent care. If you don't have a routine of saying, okay, I wash my hair like once a fortnight or once a week, and I always make sure I use conditioner, I use leave-in. Then if you're not consistently doing those things, especially if you're someone with relaxed hair, you're never gonna see the growth that your hair is doing. Like it's always gonna balance out with breakage and then growth. So, and then you end up thinking that my hair doesn't grow, when that's not the case. And what we shouldn't underestimate is what's on the next slide. Don't underestimate what you eat as part of hair growth. This is a lesson that I've had to learn myself. We talk about things like protein, iron, and omega-3. These are just the few things that you like in terms of like nutrients. There's a lot more. Like you've got zinc, you've got a lot more nutrients that actually aid in hair growth. But here I just wanted to kind of just show you like a few ones. So here you've got protein. So protein is the building blocks of your hair. That cortex that we were talking about on the first slide, the second layer, not the cuticle, but the cortex, that actually is made up of protein. So if you eat protein, it actually aids in how your like the health of your hair and the strength of your hair. So make sure that that you have protein with every meal, and iron as well. Iron leads to low iron leads to shedding and thinning. I think most people know this as well. So if you look back to that first image that had the scalp and showed you the hair vessel, like the blood vessels, it does describe the fact that your blood vessels carry oxygen to the scalp, which keeps the hair follicles alive and activated. So if you eat more iron, you're actually aiding, you're actually helping out your hair, and it's gonna, become more healthy, and it's gonna grow much better. And you've got things like, fish, like omega-3 seeds. So these are things that help with moisture and scalp health, like avocados, mackerel, chia seeds, and a lot more things. But like I mentioned, this is not everything. Like there's other nutrients. It's just about really having a balanced diet, I guess, that aids with hair growth. One important point I actually forgot to write here, I meant to come back and add it in, was drinking water. Water is the best thing you can do for your hair as well. It reduces scalp dryness because you're hydrating your hair from within. You're actually hydrating from within instead of just putting stuff on top. So I am someone that struggles with drinking water like as much as I should, but if you drink water like the recommended amounts, you notice a difference in how your hair is much more moisturized, and how much your hair is much more healthy. Yeah. And here is just a slide on hair loss, which comes out due to traction alopecia. So if you look at the first one, this is, I think we've seen it on ourselves or even on our loved ones, family, friends, that that you can tell where your hairline is supposed to be, but then it's kind of moved like a whole bunch of centimeters back. And that does come down to the styles that we put on. We should not make it how do I say, like a normal thing, because we see it around our community so often. We should not embrace it as, oh, that's just how it is, with our hair. With our hairline moves. That's not true. It's because of if we do back to back to back styles that put on your hairline, you are bound to have this traction alopecia situation a couple years down the line. It doesn't happen overnight. It does take time to develop, but once it's there, it's there. I'll show you on the next slide things that you can do to maybe like kind of reverse the process of traction alopecia. But sometimes it depends on how far gone it is. If it's to the point where you're not even seeing any hair at all, like there's no follicle, like it's almost like your follicles are gone, that one you probably need to go to a trichologist. That's like a kind of like a dermatologist for hair, and they can actually maybe prescribe some topical treatments, like something more intense. But with the lady that we have here on the photo, you can see that the hair is actually kind of still growing. She still has her hair follicles. So if she does the stuff that I'm going to talk about on the next slide, there is a good chance that you can actually start seeing some change when it comes to hair, like with the hairline. So the second photo is, this is what we always see when if you get braids or like any styles that pulls on our hair. This is not normal when you get those little bumps at the hairline. That's something that I just wanted to kind of put here so that we can keep an eye out for. That's a sign that your style was too tight and that the hair is being pulled out of the follicles. So the redness and the soreness and the bumps, they tend to happen after braids, sorry. And it is inflammation, and it is caused by the stress that you have on the scalp. If this happens over and over again, you are likely to end up having the traction alopecia like somewhere down the line, like in a couple years, if you feel like this happens back to back to back. So whenever we're getting braids, it's always good to like how like we hold the the braid as we pull it to ourselves as the stylist is pulling it away from your hair. That way you just kind of it helps like reduce the tension like from your scalp. So be in mind, like whenever you get braids and you can see maybe like after a couple of days or a week, that these little bumps are coming out, that is a sign of inflammation. And traction alopecia is also caused by tight bands, not even just braids, just tying your hair too tight, or even wigs and glue. I mean, when you glue your wig right on top of your hairline, it will cause traction alopecia. So just be mindful if you've got a wig and you need to glue it in, just kind of try to not do it right on your hairline. Yeah, because that would, doing it over and over again, it will lead to your hair, to you losing the like your hairline. And it's even worse on chemically treated hair, because it is hair that's very fragile. Yeah. Okay, so the thing I was talking about with traction alopecia and how you can kind of help, I don't know, like reverse it, I guess, for lack of a better word, is what they call derma needling or micro needling. So this is something that you can do once a week with minoxidil. Minoxidil is a prescription medication that you actually have to go to like maybe like a dermatologist or a trichologist to get it like to get it. But you can use something like peppermint oil or rosemary oil if you just want to do it by yourself. Like products that contain these essential oils, by the way. So peppermint and rosemary, they're essential oils that you don't want to use directly on your skin. You have to mix it with something. You have to blend it with something. So the product that I that I make, the Area of Growth hair and scalp oil, it does contain peppermint and rosemary oil. So you can actually use this when you're doing the micro needling. But I'll repeat again, don't use the peppermint or rosemary essential oil by itself. Mix it with another oil like jojoba oil or like fractionated coconut oil or something like olive oil. So don't just use it by itself, because it's too concentrated to do by itself. Yeah. So that photo shows you what micro needling is. You can actually just even go on Amazon or do your research on like the right like one to buy from there's different brands that sell like this little like micro needling. It's called a derma roller. So it's something that you just literally do on your hair like once a week. You rolling it around like your hairline, and what it does is it is kind of causing micro injuries on the scalp, but what it does is it's improving blood flow and product absorption to aid with your hair. It's kind of trying to stimulate your hair follicles so that it aids with hair growth. But what you have to bear in mind if you're gonna go into this derma rolling is to do your own research, as in proper like have a look at different companies that that make the products, and figure out what they recommend as to like how often they do it and what to use it with. And also because it's causing micro injuries, it is critical to be like hygiene in mind, in case if you're someone that has like breakouts or like the pimples easily, you need to be mindful of that. Or if you're someone that gets that's quite prone to keloids. So I would say if you really want to go through that like this route, like if you find a company that makes the derma roller, call them and ask and find information, or even go to a dermatologist if you really want to make sure that this is something that you want to do. Yeah. And then next slide. So here we're gonna talk about the actual like routine. So you've got your wash day, which is the shampoo, like the conditioner and the leave-in conditioner and the oiling. So when you talk about shampoo, that's really the step one, like essentially. So here I found, like, this is something that Pantene, we know it. I think if you go to Woolies or Coles, you find this product. Anytime you pick a shampoo, if you're someone with Afro-textured hair, look at the back and stay away from an ingredient called sodium lauryl sulfate or a sodium lauryl sulfate. So this is a really good cleansing agent. It literally cleans your hair so well, but then it does it a little too well in such a way that it strips your hair of its natural oils and leaves your hair much drier. So some people have used shampoos with this product with this ingredient, and they haven't felt any difference. But as a blanket rule, it's always safer to stay clear of it. There's a lot more products on the market that don't contain this ingredients. And if you look at this ingredient list, it shows you where it is number 2 on the list, and that means there's a lot of it in this product. So when you look at an ingredient list, anything that's in the first 5, that's that's the most that are in the product. The other, like the bottom bit, that's what you find maybe in like 0.1% or like 1% or 2%. But the higher up the list you go, the more percentage you have of that ingredients within the product. So in this shampoo, we have obviously water is always the first one, which is a good thing. But the second one, this sodium lauryl sulfate, anyone with Afro-textured hair, just stay away from it. Don't get any product with this because it dries out our hair like no man's business. Yeah. And then this is just an idea of what to get. So these have sulfates, the one like on the left, like the Dove, like you find these ones on like all the shelves in Woolies. They're really good cleansing agents, but they dry out the hair so bad. So what you want to stick with is products that are on your right. They generally don't have the really drying ingredients. I myself, I use Aveeno, which is the clarifying and shine shampoo. Like I found, even if it is a clarifying shampoo, it does cleanse my hair, but it doesn't leave it dry and stripped. So I am gonna share this slide, by the way, to your email, so you can refer back to it and look at this product so that it can guide you when you're trying to buy. So again, stay away from the ones with sulfates, but always go for the ones without sulfates, and look at the back of the of the ingredient list to know exactly what's in it. And then this is just a guide on what shampoos are available out there. So you when you go into a shop, I know you see some like that say volumizing shampoo and everything, but generally they all come down to these 3 this like 3 categories. You've got moisturizing shampoos. So these are shampoos that are really good for if you've got like really dry and brittle hair and frizzy hair that's really like not manageable, or if your hair that's chemically treated and heat damage, so they're much more gentler. The problem with the moisturizing shampoos is that they tend to contain silicone sometimes, which are ingredients that can build up on your hair if you constantly use a moisturizing shampoo week in, week out. And it's not ideal for someone with oily hair, but that's really not a problem with someone with Afro-textured hair. Our hair more often than not is naturally dry. And the middle one is the clarifying shampoo. So clarifying shampoo is what you want to use if you're someone that uses a lot of products so there when you're styling your hair. So here I'm talking about you use a hair gel, you've got you moisturize your hair like maybe like every day or something. Like if you just put a lot of products in your hair throughout the week, you want to make sure that you have a chance to clarify it. That way you completely you fully cleanse your hair, you fully cleanse your scalp, and then that will enhance like the definition. But the one thing to be mindful of, obviously, with clarifying shampoos, because they're really very cleansing, is that they can strip the hair of its natural oils, and they're quite brittle, and they might cause dryness and a dry scalp as well. And especially if some of them contain SLS, which is that sodium lauryl sulfate that I was talking about. So this shampoo that I've put here, the Aveeno, is actually one of the best clarifying shampoos that I've come across. I actually use it quite often. Like I don't use it once a month. I use it like sometimes even weekly or fortnightly. I haven't had a problem with it drying my scalp because they made it really well. Like they put apple cider vinegar like as a blend, and they have oatmeal as an ingredient, which is very moisturizing. So for a clarifying shampoo, it's actually very good. It clarifies, but it doesn't strip your hair. And this one, you can go to Woolies, you can go to Chemist Warehouse, you can go to Kohl's and find it. If it's on sale, it's like $9. If it's not on sale, we'll find it for about $20 or something like that. Yeah. So it just depends like what time you get it. So the last one is what we call a chelating shampoo. So this is, you don't use it often. I rarely use this because it's for if your hair is very, it's got so much build up and it's really dirty, or you've got locks and you just really want to give those locks a really good cleanse. You can use a chelating shampoo because it's very stripping, it's very drying. But if you feel like you just need that really good cleanse, you can use a chelating shampoo. But because it's the way it's formulated, it's not recommended to use on new locks because it will just unravel those locks. That's how very intense it is. So I would probably suggest, I don't think any one of us here will probably need to use a chelating shampoo. I think if you just want to cleanse your hair, just go ahead and use a like a clarifying shampoo. And then if you don't want to do clarifying, but you just want to moisturize your hair, you want like a moisturizing shampoo, go ahead and get a moisturizing shampoo. Yeah, but I would recommend if you use the Aveeno shampoo even on a weekly and fortnightly basis, your hair will be fine. Yeah, I use it on myself and I use it on my daughter as well, and I haven't had any issues with dry scalp since then. Yeah. Okay, so these are just some tips I just wanted to share when it comes to how to shampoo your hair. So these are the do's and don'ts. So the first one is do finger detangle before washing. So our fingers are like the best detangler because you can feel your hair. You can feel when there's a bit of a snag, and then you can just kind of be gentle in your as you're undoing, which is something that your comb can do. So always try to kind of run your hands through and do some finger detangling before you shampoo. And then when you shampoo, use lukewarm water because hot water will dry out your hair. And always make sure that you wet your hair completely before you apply shampoo. The reason you're doing this is you don't want to waste your product, because if you put shampoo with your hair still wet, you end up having to, your hair still dry, sorry, you end up having to use a lot of product, and you do not want to do that. So the more wet your hair is, sometimes it actually stretches out that hair and loosens and softens it. And so if you're someone with natural hair, it is easier to work that shampoo through through your scalp. And then when you have to detangle like later down the line with the conditioner, it is much easier. And when you're putting shampoo, concentrate on your scalp. Shampoo is not for the hair, it is for the scalp, and use a scalp scrubber. That photo that we have there, that's a scalp scrubber. It helps with removing dead skin, dead skin or like on your scalp. So the more you use a scalp scrubber each time, the more you're making sure that your hair is, your scalp is thoroughly cleansed. As you're washing, that residue shampoo, when it's flowing down the hair, it is cleaning your hair as you're washing it off. But you don't have to go with a shampoo and literally go right on your hair strand and do that. Focus the shampoo on your scalp. And then also, if you don't have a scalp scrubber, use your fingertips just like gently to just kind of work the shampoo on your scalp. And then if you can always do a second wash if your shampoo did not lather. So what am I talking about here? Generally, when your hair is quite dirty and oily, you use the first layer, like you shampoo first, and then you won't see that much foam, and that means the shampoo is doing a lot of work to try to remove all the dirt. And then if you do another layer, you wash it off and then you do another layer of shampoo, you see a lot of foam, like you see a lot of leathering, and that's generally a sign that your hair is really it's been really cleansed really well. And so the don'ts, like I say, don't use hot water when you're shampooing, and don't put shampoo directly on your hair. Put it on the scalp instead, and don't force detangling your hair while you're shampooing, because shampoos are not formulated to detangle your hair. It's more the conditioners that really do that. So don't try to detangle your hair as you're shampooing. Really try to do it before, but then when you're shampooing, just focus on shampooing, but the detangling comes on the next stage. So conditioning. So conditioning is non-negotiable. Like if you condition your hair, you'll notice the difference. Conditioners, they hydrate your hair. They contain ingredients like honey and glycerin that actually attract moisture from the air to your strands. And conditioning also smoothes that hair cuticle layer, you know, that outline layer that we were talking about. If you use a conditioner, it actually smoothes that cuticle, which makes it easier when you're detangling for your hair, like for you to comb through it. And they contain like they coat your hair, like the strand of your hair, with a layer that actually protects your hair like from wear and tear, like as you go out through the week. So conditioner is so important. And the results are even better if you add heat, especially if you're someone with low porosity hair. So why am I talking about that? I hope I put it on the next slide. Yeah, so heat opens up the cuticle. So if you're someone with natural hair and it's got closed cuticles, you want them to open a little bit so that the product can go in. So heat does that. Heat opens the cuticle. So if you put your conditioner and then you put heat, and then you put heat, you open up the cuticle for at least for that 20-30 minutes that your conditioner is in your hair, and then you wash it off. That will ensure that the product has penetrated better into your hair strands. So how do you use heat? So there's what we call hooded dryers. So you can go on Amazon, you can find a hooded dryer. This is a photo of, like, for an example, one that you can do. You can even do like a DIY one yourself at home, where you just get a put conditioner, put a hair cap on, and then you get a dryer, like in an actual blow dry, and just put it on low heat, and then just like kind of gently like rotate around your hair, rotate. It is a bit tedious because you're doing it yourself, you know. But if you do that for like, you know, like a good 20 minutes, you're actually doing the same thing that a hooded dryer is doing, like essentially. But I would recommend, if it's something that you want to do often, like on a weekly basis, you probably get better off just getting like a hooded dryer. But yeah, like I said, you can do like a DIY version of, like, for yourself, by just putting a shampoo cap on and then using the like the blow dryer right on top. Yeah. And then conditioners come in like just different formulations. So you've got the first ones. These ones, they don't do much for our hair, with some people with Afro-textured hair. So the best way to tell which ones are the rinse out conditioners, they are the ones that if you look at the back, they tell you leave for a minute and then you wash it off. Yeah. 1 minute is not going to do much for like for your hair. So those ones are really like just very quickly, but they're not very effective for Afro-textured hair. For someone with Caucasian hair, they can use those things and like those conditioners, and they'll be fine. But if you have to use like a weekly, like the rinse out conditioners, it is generally better than nothing. So you can use it weekly, but I would recommend, if you're for all of us, just to go for deep conditioners. Just skip the like that rinse out one and go straight for the deep conditioners. They are a little bit more expensive because of the way they're formulated to be more hydrating, to help with moisture retention and to improve elasticity and reduce breakage. So they can cost a little bit more, maybe around $20 to $30. Whereas the weekly ones, I think you probably find one for like $5 or something. Yeah, so but I would recommend definitely stick with the middle one, the deep conditioners, because you can use them weekly. And just follow the instructions at the back of the pack. If it's saying leave for 10 minutes, do 10 minutes. If it's half an hour, do half an hour. Leaving it for overnight, it won't change anything. Just follow the what the directions actually like kind of recommend. And the last one, it is the protein reconstructors. These are for people with natural with sorry, no, not natural, with relaxed hair, because relaxed hair strips the hair, like it weakens the hair. So you need to kind of add on protein every 6 weeks to just make your hair regain that strength that it once had when it was natural. It will never be the same, but it's better than not doing it. So these are the ones that you do every like every 4 to 6 weeks. You do not want to do this weekly because it will actually ruin your hair. So too much of a good thing is not good. So I'll recommend, if you're gonna use like protein ones, do it every 4 to 6 weeks. So the way you do it is you shampoo, you do the protein one, and then follow up with a deep conditioner. So it's a 3-step process if you're gonna do a protein reconstructive treatment, because a protein treatment, it doesn't have slip, so it's really hard to detangle your hair in this stage. So don't bother detangling your hair if you're gonna use a protein treatment. Just let it sit there for however long the package describes, and then use a deep conditioner afterwards. That way it will help with combing your hair through. So the Joyco product that I'm showcasing here, you can find it on like online on Oz Hair Beauty or on Chemist Warehouse. They are 4G1. You can't find it in store in Australia, but you can find it online as well. But I use the Joyco protein reconstructor. It's a 2-step process with the hydrator, like on a 4 to 6 weekly basis. Yeah. Okay. So deep conditioning tips. So use it every time you wash your hair to maintain moisture, and opposite to the shampoo is for the scalp, and then conditioner is for the hair. So don't put conditioner on your scalp, put conditioner on your hair, especially the ends of your hair. And then use a wide tooth comb to section your hair, just to help with distribution. And then always deep condition regularly, just to help with moisture. And when you're rinsing your moisture, your conditioner, sorry, don't use hot water, because hot water opens the cuticle. So use cool water or lukewarm water, because that does close the cuticle. So what you're doing is you're closing off you're closing the product that you've put in. You're actually making sure that the cuticle is nicely sealed off, if that makes sense. So the don'ts kind of same as the do's, in like, just opposite. Like, don't apply on the scalp. And conditioning, the conditioning step is where you want to detangle your hair, because conditioners are formulated with ingredients that have got good slip, so you can actually comb through your hair as your deep conditioner. And if you're someone with fine hair, don't use heavy conditioners, because they will weigh your hair down. So you can generally know if you go to the shops and then they're actually describing it as like a light conditioner or like a lightweight one, then you can get that one. But sometimes it's kind of like a trial and error. You buy a conditioner and then you try it out, and you'll be like, oh, this one is too heavy for my hair, and then let me try like another one. So you end up knowing the more you use like the product. And the next one is the step 3, which is the leave-in conditioner. So first shampoo, and then deep conditioner, and the last one is the leave-in conditioner. A leave-in conditioner it helps your hair stay soft and protected for days. So this is what you're doing. This one you don't wash off. The deep conditioner you use it and then you wash it off. But you are leaving it on your hair. So it hydrates your hair between washes, and it prevents it from drying and from breakage as well. So it makes it easier even when you have to detangle your hair, and then it helps so that the tearing, that breakage that happens, it reduces that when you're using a leave-in conditioner. And it also, so it's literally does the same thing as your deep conditioner, but it just formulated in such a way that it can stay on your strands for longer, as in for days. You don't have to wash it off. So when you compare a leave-in and a deep conditioner at the back, like in terms of the ingredients, you'll find probably like 80% of the ingredients are the same, but then it's just different differences, because this one is formulated to stay on your scalp. So this is a deep conditioner. A leave-in is doubly important if you've got Afro-textured hair, regardless whether it's relaxed or natural hair. You need to use a leave-in conditioner, because it does help protect your hair throughout the week. So what are the options that we have available? So the first 3 you find online. Unfortunately, in Australia, if you go to shops, you will not find a leave-in conditioner in store, because they just don't stock products for our hair. So you have to go online if you really want to get a leave-in conditioner. The Shea Moisture one, that last one, you can find it in some Priceline shops. I know if you're in Sydney, if you go to Liverpool Priceline, you find it there, or some African shops. But if you go to Woolies and stuff, you will not find any of these products. But if you go to an African shop, there's a good chance that the first, second, and the last one, you find it in an African shop. Yeah. And so the tips for leave-in is you want to apply it on on damp hair. Don't put it on your hair when it's dry. It's this for soon after you've just washed the deep conditioner off your hair. And then same with the deep conditioner, focus on your ends, because that's where you need the moisture. Because the longer your hair is, the older it is, if that makes sense. So your ends, that means your ends have been on your scalp for like 4 or 5 years. So they have had more wear and tear than than the hair that's on your scalp, that's closer to your scalp, really. So the ends need more care. So whenever you're applying a leave-in conditioner or a deep conditioner, you want to focus on your ends. And yes, you want to use a white tooth comb. And then you want to follow a leave-in conditioner with a sealant, like an oil, but I'll talk about that on the next slide. And you don't want to overdo this process. You don't want to use too much leave-in conditioner. Just put a little bit at a time and then just see how your hair is going. Because if you put too much and you've got relaxed hair and you want to blow dry it at the end, it will take you so long because your hair is loaded with so much product. So I would say you just do nice section and then you do like a little bit at a time and then you see how your hair like is responding. Yeah. And then the next one is, these are the must-have accessories when it comes to, your hair routine. So I wanted to put all the photos, but I was like, let me just put the most important one, which is the brush, like what you're combing your hair with. There is detangling brushes that you can get that actually are formulated for Afro-textured hair, and that will help with reducing breakage. So the Tango Teaser is one, and then you've got one that's called the brush. So I use the Tango Teaser, and it really this is for like relaxed hair or natural hair. It doesn't matter what hair you have. You can use you can use either one of these. So you can either like try the first one and see how you go, and then if it's not working out for you, you can try the second one. There's other options out there, but from research, I've had a lot of people tend to. There's more people that do well with the Tango Teaser than the brush, but then everyone is different. Everyone is different. And then the alligator clips. These are just clips that you can to help with sectioning your hair, like when you're using, especially when you're doing the leave-in conditioner. You want to make sure that your hair is well sectioned, and always, always, always have a silk pillowcase or a silk bonnet, because as we sleep, the friction that we're doing when you toss and turn, it causes the breakage as well, because that cuticle, that outer layer of your hair, it's that cotton pillowcase, it snags, it kind of your hair gets caught onto those like the little threads. So if you have a silk pillowcase or bonnet, it does protect your hair. And obviously a white tooth comb. The spray bottle is really around detangling. You always use you can do like a mixture of water and part water, part leave-in conditioner, mix it together in a spray bottle, and then spray it when you want to style your hair, like before you go out, if you're someone with natural hair. So I just popped it in there. And then obviously your attitude makes a whole lot of difference. If you approach your hair with attitude like, oh, my hair's hard to take care of and I just want to get it done over with, then you find you'll be a bit more rougher with your hair. But if you're very you're very intentional and you've got a positive attitude to your hair, you'll find even how you treat your hair, it'll be different. Like, if you love your hair, it's gonna it's gonna love you back. And the microfiber towel is for drying your hair. Like when you're done with the shampoo and you want to dry it a bit too, so that you can put the leave-in. I mean, you can put the deep conditioner. It's good because why a microfiber? Because it's kind of works the same as a silk pillowcase in such a way that it doesn't cause too much friction on your hair. Like as you're drying it, it's much more gentler. You can even use a cotton t-shirt here to dry your hair instead of using just your normal towel that you'd have used to dry yourself. Use a microfiber towel. And like I said earlier, your hands are the best like detanglers. Yeah. And moving on to hair oiling. So I'm gonna be unashamed and showcase my product here, one which I make, which is the area of both hair growth oil. So the reason I started off with an oil is this is something that you can start with every day, even if you don't know the shampoos or the conditioner and the deep conditioner. If you start here, you're generally doing more for your hair than someone who's not even doing anything. Because what a good oil does, and here I have to emphasize a good oil, because not all oils are created the same. If you go to Woolies and buy like those Elvive oils, they contain a lot of synthetic ingredients that are not very good for our hair, and they're very, very lightweight. So they're not as coating, as moisturizing in what you would want for someone with Afro-textured hair. They're mainly for shine, which is what someone with Caucasian hair just wants. They just want shine. But for us, we want more than shine. We want nourishment, and we want that oil to actually do something more than just like providing a shine. So a good oil coats the strands and protects it from like daily elements like the wind or like the heat or the sun. And because it's an oil, it can smooth out the cuticle, and that will make your hair feel softer as well. And it actually prevents breakage by lubricating your hair, so that as you're detangling all this wear and tear, if you oil your hair, you're actually reducing the amount of breakage that's going to happen to your hair. Yeah. And you know how I was talking about the cuticle when it's broken, like that photo, I think that was like number 4, if you remember, when your cuticle is it's quite damaged. What an oil actually can do is it can actually fill in those weak spots on on damaged hair, and to actually just help it like hold on for much longer. So it can do that. But then if you're someone with really damaged hair, your best thing is to do is just to look at where the damage is and just kind of trim off that damage. But if you really just want to hold on to your hair for a little bit longer, you can kind of use the oil to just help manage the hair so that so that the breakage is not as visible. And a good oil is a good one for scalp as well, that it can reduce inflammation. How does it do that? Like when you've got someone with when you've just had braids, sometimes because they pull on your scalp, it causes inflammation. But a good oil contains antimicrobial and antifungal properties, which can help regulate the oil production on your scalp, and it can actually help keep your scalp clean. When I'm talking about regulating the sebum production, I'm talking about preventing excess buildup. So if you're someone that has excess buildup as in you produce a lot of oils, it's a good oil, it regulates that. If you don't have enough oil, like as in your scalp doesn't produce enough oil, then adding on an oil actually helps that as well. And then a good oil should contain something like peppermint or rosemary oil to stimulate blood circulation in the hair follicles, for hair growth. So you don't just kind of look at an oil and buy. You need to find one that's well blended with different oils that kind of target like different parts of your hair routine, which is like either the scalp or the ends, or just maintaining like the health of your hair and like a nourishment. So with my oil, I also wanted to do honest and just showcase what's also available on like out there. These are all American products. You can't find them in store. You can go to maybe some African shops, you might be able to find the green one, but more often than not, these ones you would have to find them online. But they generally they're formulated with the same idea in mind, like for Afro-textured hair. Yeah, and with my area of growth hair and scalp oil is I made it so that you can use it every day, like on your hair and your scalp, and it will not cause buildup. And it even works better when you apply it before bedtime, because at nighttime is where your hair your cells are rejuvenating. So if you put oil at that time, you're actually helping your scalp a lot more. And you can use it even on protective style, because it actually won't cause buildup, and it can be used for kids as well. I use it for my daughter. As long as they're like 3 years and older, you can definitely use it, and it helps with itchiness, and you can avoid constantly scratching your hair. And I've got an Etsy account, so you can actually get it on Etsy, like like for a bottle, and the price for shipping is the same, $10, regardless of how much you order. So I went through that. I was looking at my time. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have much time. I wanted to leave this time for questions. I know I was just kind of fast tracking through everything. So I did record most of the webinar, so I will share it like via email, or maybe I might even put it on YouTube if I can. But at least you can kind of go back to review the information or like what I said. So questions. I don't know if there was any. I might just stop sharing. Okay. I don't know if there's any questions on the group. I'll just have a quick look so that I can answer them.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yes.
Can you wash your braid, like to keep like you said we can wash either maybe weekly or fortnightly or whatever. Can we wash our braids?
Yes, you definitely can. You definitely can. And you ideally you should. Not as often as maybe like weekly or something like that, because it takes time. But the way you'd have to do it is you get your shampoo and you water it down. So you get like a different container and water down your shampoo. That way it's easier to get into like your scalp. So you can actually do it, but water down your product. So if it's the conditioner, you water it down. If it's a shampoo, like you water it down as well. The ratio might be something like it's hard to kind of like quantify it. I would say like a quarter shampoo and 3/4 water. So you want it quite watered down. You won't be as cleansing as a full-blown shampoo, but what you're doing is better than someone who's going maybe for the whole 3 months duration without even like washing their hair. So I would say if you've got braids, like once a month or something like that, you can do that. You can wash your braids and just focus on your scalp. Like that's where you want to cleanse, because that's where like the dead skin, like the all the like the build up, that's where everything happens. So yeah, so you can definitely wash your braids. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's okay. Okay.
I've got a question.
Yes.
Does mixing hair oils have an effect on your hair, or can it break your hair, or?
No, you can mix like the oil, the one that I have, it's actually like a blend of seven different oils. So you can actually mix oils. What you just need to know is with the information about like what those oil does. So some oils are not good for the scalp, because they call them comatogenic oils. That means they have they make like they have like build up, and they're not good in such a way that they're too big and they might cause like itching and stuff. So you need to know what oil you're using if you want to mix with other oils. So you can mix oils. Is literally the sky's the limit, but just kind of do some research on, okay, do I want what kind of oil do I want to mix with what oil, and what kind of effect do I want like for it to have. And on mixing, you can add essential oils as well, but I would suggest to go and read about essential oils if you want to mix them into your hair, because they are quite potent and they're very effective, but you don't want to overdo like essential oils. For an example, if you've got a 100 ml bottle of an oil, it could be coconut oil or even like olive oil. The essential oil ratio that you have to put in, it might be like something like 4 drops. Yeah. So with essential oils, it's very much very concentrated, so you don't need to put that much. But yeah, in terms of mixing, you can mix oils. Just read on what oils you're mixing and what's the effect that you want like for your hair. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's okay. Okay, but is hair food like Blue Magic good for? Oh, yeah, thank you for bringing that up, because I wanted to put so much in this webinar, but I was kind of stuck for time. So things like hair food like Blue Magic or any of those ones that kind of look like, I don't know, that look like Vaseline, they're not good. They're not great. The reason why I'm saying that is their ingredients, they have what they call petrolatum paraffinum, which is a very it's like Vaseline, really. It's like Vaseline. And they might give you like a good look, but they really seal your hair a little too much. the point where nothing penetrates. So if you didn't like wash your hair, if you haven't been washing your hair and your hair is quite dry and not moisturized, and you use that like those like Blue Magic kind of type of products, you are sealing the dryness. You literally making your hair even drier, even if it might look shiny, it might look healthy, but it might look shiny, but it's actually not healthy. So I would say stay clear of those like Blue Magic or those type of products. If you have to use it for maybe it helps you kind of hold the style, make sure that you would have done a really good shampoo, a really good conditioner, like leave with a deep conditioner, and then do that one on top, because that petrolatum, it's pretty much like a mineral. It's shampoo, and minerals are very sealing. They block everything else. So any moisture that we want from the environment, anything like that, that will not be happening. That will not be happening. Yeah. Okay, so do always protect against heat when straightening. Not as good as a an actual thermal, like a, what do you call it, a heat protectant, not as good. If you layer, like if you do like a leave-in conditioner and then you put in oil, your hair, there is some product there, so it might kind of reduce in terms of the heat, what do you call, like the heat exposure, but not in the sense that you can actually call it a heat protectant. You would need something like an actual protectant, like that actually formulated, that tells you it's like you can heat your hair, because when you're straightening your hair, you're going to temperatures up to like something like 240 degrees or something. So no product or oil can do that. So you need a grab like a heat protection. You can find it from Woolies and and Kohl's, and just try to spray it evenly on your hair. So I wish there was actually like a leave-in conditioner that you can use that contains heat protectants. I think they're there, but they're all like American ones. I don't think there's anything like that in Australia. Like I hope we can actually make something like that in the future. That way you don't have to put like the heat protectant after the leave-in. You can just make sure you know that the leave-in has a heat protectant. So yeah, so to answer your question, it doesn't protect your hair as much as a proper like heat protectant would do. Yeah. Okay, so do we use the same products for both? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I know I used to think not so much, but more or less you can use the same products. The only difference is around if you've got fine hair, so you don't want to use like heavy butters, or like heavy oils like castor oil, because it's very thick. So but more often than not, some product like the shampoo, we can use the same shampoo, we can use the same leave-in, we can use the same like deep conditioner. So differences are when you've got fine hair, that's when you want to say, okay, maybe I'll try a lightweight product. If my hair is weighing down my hair, I'll try like a different one. And the other part is when it comes to hair porosity, like I was talking about, natural hair is generally low porosity. That means the cuticles are closed, but then relaxed hair is got it's high porosity. Those cuticles are open. So some products, if you actually Google, you can say like leave-in conditioner for high porosity hair. There's some American brands that are actually formulated like their leave-in specifically for high porosity or specifically for low porosity. So if you really want to go like all out and just make sure you get the right thing, you can actually just Google it according to that, or you've got some website that actually showcase this product, these ones are good for low porosity, these ones are good for high porosity, so you can actually just use them as a guide. But generally we can use the same products. Like I use the same product as my daughter, like literally the same, except for the protein one, because that's for relaxed hair. Yeah. So relaxer is good for our hair. Not in the sense of, I would say no, like just as a general rule, relaxers weaken your hair. Your hair is, what a relaxer does is that protein that keratin that your hair has, the relaxer, the way it straightens your hair is actually to weaken like those bonds, and then your hair becomes strong. So I would say if you can, you don't, you shouldn't. But me, I came to a point where with my schedule and like business, I was like, I did not have time to actually delve into like learning how to take off my hair. So I end up just learning doing like relaxers, and they work really well for my routine. And then I was like, now that I've relaxed hair, how do I actually take care of it? So that's how I resolved to keep my hair like just relaxed. So I go out of my way to actually maintain it relaxed, to keep it healthy. But you don't have to relax your hair. You can keep it natural, but you just need to make sure that you're doing a bit more for your hair, because relaxers weaken your hair. Relaxed hair is essentially weak hair, if that makes sense. So what causes our hair to fall off on kids with natural hair? It's dryness. Dryness, that's that. When it comes to our kids, I know like braiding and stuff, it helps a lot, you know, when we've got like school and everything, like we try to, you know, get them to have braids, and then they last for like the whole term. But when you think about daily, on a day in, day out, how often like are you like washing your daughter's hair? Like how often are you like moisturizing it, even like putting in oil that can do something for like for their hair? How often are you actually doing those things? So if you're not doing none of that, then that's going to lead to dryness, and then that's going to lead to like to breakage. And the other thing that causes breakage with natural hair is because our hair is tightly coiled, tightly coiled. That means when you are combing through it, like those kinks are like breaking points, and that point of weakness, and that means at any of those kinks, your hair can break. So this is where I would say, if you've got natural hair, if you try to keep it stretched, as in like try to keep it in a straight state, it does reduce breakage, because when your hair is kind of shrunken and it's got like a lot of shrinkage, and you go through it with a comb, then it's common sense. You know, it's gonna break. Yeah, it's gonna break. Okay, so someone asked, okay, is hair dye good for natural hair? Hair dyes, you can do hair dye if you've got natural hair, because you haven't relaxed your hair. So when you're dyeing your hair and you've got natural hair, you're putting a chemical in it. So you're almost the same as someone with the relaxed hair, but not quite to that point of weakening. Yeah. So I'll say you can, but just know that by doing that, you're actually weakening your hair. So you might need to do more things to your hair, similar to what someone with relaxed hair does, which is putting a protein treatment, and always like oiling your hair and washing regularly. And how often should we trim split ends? Split ends, it depends how fast your hair grows, and depends how much damage you have. So I would say you can literally go for like something like 4 to 6 months, and just trim it every 6 months. You don't have to trim your hair on every salon visit. You will not see growth. So I'll say like 6 months, or like twice a year, you can go and get your hair trimmed. Yeah, you can get your hair trimmed. And how to reduce and manage thinning at the crown. So it's the things that we do, like daily care and routine, like thinning. When you have to tie your hair, tie it really loose. If it needs to be a bun, just make it really loose. If you have to do braids, make sure that by all means they are very, very, very gentle on your hairline. Even if, yes, it might make the style not last long, but it's better than you losing your hair. Yeah. And are you able to share products that you recommend? Okay, I will try to send links, or I think I'll try to send. I think I've got everyone's emails. I'll just try to send links of all the products that I have shared the products. And how often should we shampoo relaxed hair? Same with Afro. Shampoo once a week, or at most once a fortnight if you're someone with a busy schedule. Don't go longer than that, because shampooing, it introduces it introduces water into your hair, and water hydrates your hair. So definitely once a week, or at most once a fortnight. You have a shampoo, relaxed or natural hair. Do you have plans on making your own shampoo? Yes, that's my plan. That's my plan. It does take a lot more to formulate shampoos and conditioners and leave-in. So I actually have to work with a cosmetic chemist with things like a hair oil, because water is not involved. I can do it by myself, but anything that you're adding water on, you need to make sure that you use proper preservatives. So that one I need to work with the lab to do that. But I have been working on that in terms of researching what our Australian community needs. Yeah, so it's definitely part of the plan. Yeah, so yeah, that's definitely it. So just watch the space. Yeah. So does braiding grow your hair? No. So braiding doesn't grow your hair. It just gives the illusion that your hair is growing because you're not looking at your hair every day. If I braid my hair today and then I take them off 3 months later, I will see the length because I wasn't looking at my hair on a daily basis. Yeah. So it doesn't grow your hair. It just tucks your hair nicely away and there's not much manipulation. And then that way you end up seeing growth. So it is the fact that someone who doesn't have braids, that means you have to brush your hair every day. You have to do all these things. So that, the more manipulation, the higher the chance of breakage. So braiding doesn't make your hair grow, but it just puts your hair away. That way you can see growth. But if your hair is in braids, please, always like they do. So wash your braids like once a month or even 6 weeks if you can stretch it, and oil the braids because the oil will lubricate the braid. That way when you're taking down your braid, it's so much easier to take the braids off, and the oil will provide actual nourishment like for your hair whilst it's tucked away. Yeah, so all we're reading for you. Thank you. Okay, so ordering the oil. So I will you can go on Etsy and just type in area of growth hair growth oil, and then it'll come up. But I will send, when I'm sending the link to all the products like the shampoos, conditioners, I will also send the link of my hair oil so that you can grab it. So I really do appreciate all the support that I'm getting from the chat. So what should we use the oil or that's when it's on? So the oil always, as much as I want, to sell all the oils and say that's all you need, that's not all you need. You need to pair it with a good routine. So shampooing and deep conditioner and leave-in. The oil is your kind of your everyday okay, for me, I literally have it on my bedside. That's my, like, at the end of the day, I'm just like, oh, let me just put some oil on my scalp and my hair. I just pull it up and then I'll just put it on my hair. Like, so it's, for me, the oil is something that you use on a daily basis, like before you go out, like, the morning or before you go to bed. So it's on a daily basis, you use the oil. And then the shampoo and the conditioners, that's more on a weekly basis. So what the oil does is essentially kind of how do I put it? Like, it's like how yeah, it's like moisture. It's like when you're putting lotion on your hair or like on your skin. You don't want dry skin, so you're gonna put like lotion, and you find, oh, my hands are a bit dry today. Let me put another layer of like lotion. So that's what the oil does. Like if you use it regularly, and you won't notice the difference. Your hair will be much softer, it'll be much easier to take care of, and you will not notice as much breakage as someone who doesn't. So how do we avoid shrinkage? The only shrinkage is our God-given thing. Like it's just it serves a purpose in such, because our hair okay, how do I put it? If you've got natural hair and you notice the hair shrinkage, when you pull it and then it snaps back, that's actually a good thing. That's actually a sign that your hair is healthy. You should celebrate that. That's a good thing. I know it's frustrating because it's like, oh, shrinkage. But when your hair is wet and you're taking it and it's bouncing back, that's elasticity. That's actually a very good thing. It shows a sign the health of your hair. But for easier like to manage in terms of a day-to-day basis, the only way to avoid shrinkage is if you blow dry your hair, or if you stretch out your hair. So yeah, I'm talking about doing like the twist out, like when your hair is too wet, like you twist your hair and then that stretch out your hair, or you can flat iron your hair. So the way you can that will help, because when your hair is stretched, that means there's no those coils, they're not as pronounced, and that means your hair, when you're combing through it, it's not breaking. Like my hair, I mean, it's relaxed, but it's straight, so it's quite easy for me to kind of comb through it. But if it was tightly coiled, I'll probably lose like bits and pieces here and there because it's tightly coiled. It's just kind of like, I don't know, physics, I guess. Yeah. So some of us are overdosing on the oil. Honestly, with this one, you can. I've done my checks. Actually have it here. So with this one, I have used it sometimes, maybe like, especially soon after I relaxer, because relaxers, they dry out the scalps. I would use it maybe like 3 or 4 times a day sometimes. I will literally just kind of go at it. And anytime I would experience any itchiness, I would literally just go like that and just go right where the itch is and just kind of drop the oil there instead of going in with my hands and causing injury on my scalp. Because if you cause injury on your scalp, it's gonna scalp and then it's gonna affect the hair growth. So anytime your hair is itching, if you like, just don't scratch it, just go for the oil and then just go for it. You can literally use it as much as you need to. It will not, I kid you not, it will not cause buildup and it will not affect the natural like environment of your scalp because it's made with jojoba oil, which is the closest jojoba and camellia oil, which is the closest oil that mimics the natural oils that we actually produce. Okay, we should do surveillance where we can. Oh, I wish, yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool to have a IV. Actually, you'll be surprised. There's so much research out there with hair products. So I was actually looking into the other day. There is some research around what you can take it like internally to kind of enhance hair growth. It will not quicken it, but it'll just enhance it, which is that minoxidil that I was talking about, that tablet that you can take for traction alopecia. It is something that you can take internally. So true, my scalp is not itchy at all. Yeah. So I'm glad you've noticed the same thing. I noticed the same thing with my with the when I use the product. So on that point, I wanted to let you guys know this is someone really motivated me to create 2 different applicator bottles. So we've got, this is the dropper one that you won't really be touching the oil, you just kind of squeeze it in and then you put it on your scalp. But for people with if you're doing someone's hair or if you've got kids, like even for me, I'm making I'm gonna be selling it with a different applicator bottle, same price, but you can just choose. I will make some adjustment on the Etsy shop. You can choose if you want to have this one that's like a serum pump. So this is just like, instead of putting it on the hair, you just put on your hands and then you put it on your hair. So this is for someone who would, the dropper is really good. Like I love it, but I think there's some instances where you just wanna kind of, pump it and then just go about your way. So you can even order both of them. It's the same price. And then just use it for like whichever way you want. Okay, so I was going to ask if yeah. So I'm in spirit. So here you go. So, but I'll put it on the website so that you can choose. You want to order that, it'll be easier. So so blessed you. Oh, thank you so much. I was talking a lot. I was talking really fast, and I couldn't stop myself because I was like, oh, there's so much information to give out. So I really hope at least maybe 80% or 60% of it made sense and it will help you kind of get started. But if you really have more questions, like you can even like email me, that's fine. I didn't get a chance to talk about everything, but I think I kind of did give maybe I don't know, like just somewhere to start, which is really awesome because it is my dream I believe we all have good hair. There's no such thing as bad hair. We all have good hair, but we just need a bit of information and knowledge on exactly what we can do to make our hair grow. Yeah, so thank you so much, everyone who stayed through to the end. So much talking. But I'm gonna share the links for the video for the products. And thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So you have a lovely evening, everyone, and you take care. And yeah, so I guess that's
Sorry,
it.
Mike, just a quick question.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. With the bottles, you know how we've got the applicators, the droppers?
Yes.
Is it possible just not to sell bottles without the applicator for some of us who've ordered like 6 bottles and now we're just throwing everything away in the bin? I feel like it's a bit of a waste.
That's fine. I can do that. I
Yeah.
can definitely do that. That's a good idea. What I'll do is I will make the adjustment on the Etsy shop where you can just
Yeah.
buy which will be like much cheaper actually, we can just buy this. And what I might actually even do is because my mom lives in Sydney, so maybe I might even send her like a whole bunch of the applicator ones, like the pump, so that she can actually you like you can just grab it from her. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you can always order. But I
Yeah,
think
because I
that
was
might be
just thinking,
easier. Like
it feels a bit like a waste because we've already got like each of the bottles that we buy have the droppers, and then each time you're
yeah.
taking the whole thing and just putting it in the bin, whereas you could just buy the sort of like a refill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really brilliant. Yeah. So what I'll do,
Mhm.
yeah, I think a lot of people are probably in Sydney, so I will just send like a whole bunch to Sydney, and then you can like you can grab it from there. But I will still maybe put the option online because maybe someone is not on here and they want to get just the pump instead of the proper bottle. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I think that's it. Was there anyone else with the question before we log off?
Thank you, Mike. That was very helpful.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Hope I made
Thanks,
sense.
Mike.
Thanks,
Thank
Mike.
you. All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, it's okay. Hey guys, stay, please. Don't go. Tali.
Good job, brother. Good job.
Thank you.
Well done.
Well done, mate. No, this was good. Very informative.
Did it make sense for us,
No, no, it did.
Vanwe kusini nimurise.
Yeah, right. You say my peppers.
We are good. We are good.
Rural.
Wait until you come here,
In
you
the
will see
rural,
Yeah, right.
Yes,
Yes.
we live in the northern beaches.
All right. If you say so. Nah, you do. Honestly, I'm so jealous.
It's nice here. It's nice. You should come.
Thanks, guys.
All
for
right,
your support.
bye. Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.